Yeah. He's coming on
Layla
camera.
Root, King and Queens on Indie Music Live. Up next. Layla Roots.
Layla Root?
Episode 92. Classic rock vibe. Total classic rock. Bobby Stamp says, Funky Town Pat Benatar. You kind of see how he would kind of come about that. But yeah, I like this one. The guitar playing is a little simple for me, in a sense, but if you think about it on the classic rock vibe, it was real simple back then too. So it's not like anything real flashy or anything like that. But then again, I'm not a guitar player, so I don't know what guitar player wants to take over.
I'll take over for a bit. I mean,
wait, you're not a guitar player.
Yeah, I only toured for 10 years as the lead guitarist, highly acclaimed by several people. Bobby Stamp's neologisms.net. I just bought that domain. I think that should be its own show. Random mutterings. He kind of has his own vibe there. But anyway, Janis Joplin, the ghost of Janis Joplin, lives and breathes through this girl right here.
Yeah, I can see that too.
It's really raw. It's got a look like a college suburban rock, feel. Just overall, it's a little loose, little garage feel to it, but. Man, she's got some energy. She's got something going on there, and yeah, it's a little pitchy, it's a little loose. She kind of gets out of range sometimes, but people dig when a lead singer or even anyone in a band just like lays it all out there and just like goes nuts. I mean, it's worth seeing, and people feed off that energy. So I'm sure live, they probably have a decent following and who are rooting for them to go somewhere with this. But I would just recommend maybe some coaching on the vocals. And I'm not talking about changing her raw energy or anything. I'm talking about like at some point, even like a Janis Joplin, I'm sure she worked with someone at some point to like breathe better or to project better or, just like warm up better so that you're not just like running on stage and just like going nuts and getting all like out of control, because I think she could do much better with like the type of sound that she's projecting with a little assistance.
There's not
Joe.
much longevity in singing,
Exactly, yeah. Like you can crush your voice if you're just like screaming without any type of, training and prep on that stuff. So
there's even a classical singer lady. I've mentioned this a couple shows ago. I don't remember what her name is, but she coaches hardcore singers.
Yeah, right. You said that before, yeah.
So that they don't, leave the studio throwing up blood because they ripped up their vocal cords screaming, So I don't know. David.
I loved her. I thought the biggest issue with this song was the mix. You mentioned the guitars were simplistic, and I agree with that. And I think that they should go to their strength, which is the voice. And it's not bad that it's simplistic. That's fine. But the guitars are way up front and the vocals a little bit buried. And she reminds me of Bon Scott from AC/DC more than anybody else. And I'm not sure, I'd have to hear more to really see if she's singing wrong or this. I hear what you're saying, David. But that's also, if you pull out the vocal tracks of a lot of great performances and you pull them out of the mix, they're pitchy and they're weird and they're over singing and all that. A lot of times, if this could have been a whole different story if the mix would have been right. The band itself is a little loose, not in a great way. I'm not really a fan of click tracks for rock bands, but when they wandered on and off a little bit, it wasn't quite. It was getting loose and not the coolest way sometimes, but it was still all right. I think with a better mix, this would have been a whole different ball game. But they should definitely play to her because she's got something.
Yeah.
Kind of like you played a sailor, right?
Yeah, man, that's
like that transition. You like that transition?
Yeah, thanks.
Sayla's got something going on. Do you have anything to?
Oh God, thanks, dude.
Dave and I we just actually compared notes on this right before listening again, and I had the same take. I thought her vocal was ferocious. I wasn't feeling, it didn't strike me as lacking technique or anything like that, but I felt like the mix was not doing her any favors. And kind of the simplistic guitar, those little licks are just very forward, very loud, and
yeah, that's a good point. The mix you should never say that about the mix, that it's not doing you favors. It should only do you favors.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's a good point.
It's funny how much, we've talked about this before, but how much that really, people that aren't familiar with the studio have no idea how you could throw up one of your favorite songs, and if the mix is off, you would hate it. You would think that the singer sucked. Right. You would think that the guitar player was off. It has so much to do. It has so much to do with the it is the final result. If you isolate a vocalist, if you've isolated, especially in the old days before tuning and this perfection of drums where they're lining them up in Pro Tools and making them all perfect. Especially in the old days, if you listen to some of those great songs, if you solo the vocals, they get a little funky and a little weird.
Yeah.
But a great mixing engineer and getting a great mix takes that quirkiness or takes that and blends it in such a way that it's exciting. And they take the very best parts. So I can't overemphasize. She's got something cool. I would go back and remix this.